like very much to thank Willis Fagan and Beverly for the wonderful presentation of flowers, which we've never had before. Somebody said it would be nice to have National Night Out in the garden. So it was too hot out there, and we brought it inside. Isn't it beautiful? So thank you for that. We wanted to really praise our law enforcement for all their efforts, for the city mayor and his staff. Wonderful, wonderful people that we need to encourage, stand by, and never do anything bad in here, okay guys? So we want to start the program really quickly because some of these people need to get off to something else. And Anita would like to just welcome you.
Thank you very much. Susan Wilson is the person that was the lead chair in this event, so let's give her a big round. Welcome everyone for coming. Everyone should have a program. We have plenty of programs, and our overview is that we will have the introduction. We will do our Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. We'll talk about National Night Out. Actually, we're going to flip the program a bit because the police have, for some reason, the first Tuesday of the month in August is National Night Out. So we decided we would not do it on the first Tuesday because I know the police would be everywhere. Well, guess what they decided? They decided to put it on Wednesdays with Tampa bombers. So we're so glad that they came, but I know that they do need to go and visit other places. So we're going to flip the program a bit and get them started. Nancy is coming in. Nancy, over here. Okay, so let's start off with our Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stand. Please think and give a moment of silence for those who are out serving, those who have lost their lives, and those that we appreciate and honor. Thank you. Okay, since we have to get on with the pretty Nancy go. All right, I'm going to do the introductions now. It's our steering committee that we work as a great team here. We put this together, and we need to acknowledge everyone on this team. Sue Wilson, Judy Urban, Al Getman, Andy Henderson, Scott Griffin. And Scott basically is not here tonight because he's doing his real husbandly duties, which is taking care of his wife. So let's give the steering committee a big hand. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Anita Worthen on the steering committee. All right. What and where we would be without our block captain? Would our block captains please stand? We're happy to call your name. Lynn Tabernetti. Will you please just hold your applause until I introduce everyone. Claudine Diaz, Jeannie Granville, Fred Weck, Jerry Monahan. Give them a big hand. Now, we have to work, and we do it quite well with our HOA management team. I'm happy to introduce Jerry Mufo, our general manager. She's in the back. Eric Bizarre, assistant general manager, and where would we be without Cindy? Cindy Gray. And actually, generally, you know, the staff does the work, so we also are very grateful to the staff that, in the large attendance that help us. Our guest this evening, we have Beaumont City Council member Dr. Delaware Condon. We have our Beaumont City Treasurer Nancy Carroll. Supervisor Marion Ashley, Field Rep Melanie Baril, and as well. Zach Zyber generally comes, but he decides that he didn't want to go to Northern California and be an uncle. So Melanie is taking over Zach's place. Now, our actual guest speakers, we are so thrilled to have them here because we do know that without law enforcement, where would we be? We would not be safe as well as we have them here. My daughter was an LA County Sheriff, so I was praying every day when she went out and when she came home. So I wanted her to be safe. But I should not have worried too much because she had assignments like patrolling Zuma Beach, you know. But then when she went to work in the jail, that was hard. So I really am so thankful to everyone. We're flipping our program because we know that the Beaumont Police has to go. We will have our guest speakers to come up and talk a bit about it. And I know that the Chief Sean Felice is going to tell us why the dog is not here.
Evening, everybody. Honored to be here. Actually, our K-9 unit, I told you there's a huge need for it, so it's already been deployed, and it's assisting multiple agencies on a call for service right now. And so hopefully, when that's over, then the dog can make it here. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, but it's already been put into action the day it got out of school. So.
Okay, thank you so much. Our neighborhood watch coordinator for the Beaumont Police is Josh Galvin. And Josh, would you please stand up?
Actually, there's a lot more of you than normal. I don't need that. There's actually a lot more of you that are out here tonight that don't come to the meetings. So for now on, if you're not here in those meetings, then you're getting in trouble. All know about the Neighborhood Watch. You should be here present. We're really pleased with Four Seasons Neighborhood Watch program. They're an outstanding program. You guys do a wonderful job with the block captains, how they set up. We actually try to make the entire city based on the same thing that you guys do here within there, within your guys' community here. So you guys do a great job. We're grateful for all you guys do. Thank you. Real quickly, I'll introduce Officer Granada is with me. He is also part of our COPS team. We have 3 of our citizen volunteers that are here with us as well.
Okay, so if they have to scoot out, then you know why. Chief Pierce, do you have to scoot out? Are you okay? We have you? All right, good. In that case, I'm going to go to the mayor of Beaumont, which is Mike Barra.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me here today. It's always a pleasure to come out here. Always get a warm welcome, no matter what's going on in the city. Just know that city council members, as well as the treasurer and the city clerk, are working very hard. There are a number of items that we're working to take care of, and we are doing the work the best that we can to solve some of these problems that we have, and we are working very hard to look out for you and your best interest. And thanks again for having me here this evening.
Thank you, and we have our banning mayor, which is Art Welch.
Thank you, Leader. I would like to compliment all of you for showing up tonight. This is a real effort in your community, and you look serious about it. So I compliment you on it. I also want to compliment all the law enforcement officers up at this table and their colleagues for what they do for both of our communities here in the past. The other thing, and this is to the Chief of Beaumont, John, I've got one complaint. Some Four Seasons residents take neighborhood watch too seriously. Anita keeps looking over the fence to where I live in Sun Lakes. And we don't know whether it's neighborhood watch or just her way of spying on us. But anyway, I compliment your program. It has come a long way in a very short period of time, and you can tell why, because of the level of interest that you have among your homeowners. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. We have banning Chief of Police Alex Diaz and his other officers.
I'm going to stand up because I'm not as tall as Sean. Not even close. First things first. All you gentlemen out there with gold teeth look wonderful. Last year I was here, I didn't have this. There's a reason behind this. A group of officers from the NPD were participating in the Whiskerino contest for the Stagecoach celebration for this year. So instead of doing the Running Man, we decided to do the Whiskerino contest. So I'm enjoying it because there's very little hair left on my head. So just having a little bit of facial hair just makes me feel young and wonderful. But come September 9th, maybe? Come September 9th, it'll be gone in a pub show. But, in all seriousness now, this year has been a horrible year for law enforcement. And there's a lot of negativity out in certain communities, a very anti-police, anti-law enforcement sentiment out there. But it's wonderful groups like Neighborhood Watch that keep us going, that give us that motivation to continue to provide the best service in probably all of Riverside County. I believe that Beaumont and Banning have probably one of the closest working relationships as police enforcement agencies that we've had here. Sean and I communicate constantly. We're working on projects that hopefully in the future will bring even more safety to our residents. And we hope that other smaller cities that surround us will jump on board and be part of that new change in law enforcement. I also believe that our agencies are two of the best agencies that have the best working relationships with our community. Not only our community, but also the press and media. We are very motivated to be out there and provide the best service that any agency can provide for our residents. And with that, once again, thank you for the invitation. Thank you for everything that you do, not only for Beaumont, but everything you do for Manning. And we are here to make sure that you have whatever you need to be a successful neighborhood watch program. Once again, thank you very much. And by the way, next to me is Captain Holder. He was recently promoted to the captain position. And next to him is Sergeant Fisher. He's your administrative sergeant, also in charge of the code enforcement and weed abatement program. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, I always say I live and we live in two cities, basically, because Highland Springs is the dividing line between Beaumont and Banning. So when I come home, I'm in Beaumont. When I go out, I'm in Banning. And I tell you, I cannot wait for Marshalls to open, Hobby Lobby. They jumped on it before we could. But anyway, we live in both cities, and Art and I always are joking with each other about what's going on. So thank you so very much for coming. Always we ask the Highway Patrol to come because they actually have their office right here. And how many of you were here when Captain Kerry Clark came and spoke, and Lieutenant Cooper, and Darren Myers, oh, excuse me, I know Darren, so Deputy Myers, it has been with us for a while. And we're so happy that they come and they participate with us. So the California Highway Patrol.
Thank you, Anita. My name is Officer Darren Meyer. I've been here quite a few years in public affairs for 5, so I'm right down the street and I've been to many of your events. It's a pleasure to be here. And tonight, also joining us is Sergeant Eric Nolte, who has 20 years of experience in this office right here. So he's got a lot of experience being around the block. And next to him is our Lieutenant Cooper, and he is here to also speak to you guys. So we have a lot of our command staff. Unfortunately, Commander Kerry Clark couldn't make it today. She's out of town, so we're her stand-in. But it's always a pleasure to be here, and she sends her warm regards. A couple of things that Chief Diaz did mention. It has been a tough year for law enforcement. One of the things that I have seen, though, is an outpouring of support, and I'm sure the other officers can attest to this. Whether they're going to a grocery store in uniform, or seeing, going out to lunch, going to Farmer Boys, or getting a soda pop, people thank us, and that means a lot. So if you're ever wondering what you can do to reach out to your local law enforcement, a thank you and a handshake goes a long ways and makes us feel warm and fuzzy inside. So I know there's a lot of great people out there.
It's going to make me talk. I want to say thank you for you guys allowing us to be here and be part of the panel. I've had an opportunity to work in a lot of different areas: Los Angeles, Central Fresno area, Riverside, Indio, and I honestly think this has been the best community that I've worked in 22 years. When I came from Indio, I didn't know a whole lot about Banning, Beaumont area, and you guys have welcomed me with open arms. It's been fantastic. That's top to bottom in the 22 years. This has probably been the best community I've had the opportunity to work in. Sergeant Milton and I are on our special response team. We had the fortunate luck to go to the RNC in Cleveland for the last 2 weeks. What was amazing about that, we were sent as 300 officers along with, I think there was 15 other state agencies that went to Cleveland for the RNC. And I would probably say 99.9% of the people in Cleveland was supportive of law enforcement. The only negative thing I heard at the RNC in Cleveland was there was too many law enforcement officers. That was the only negative. I mean, but it was from every walk of life, every religion, every race, everybody was supportive of law enforcement. So for the 1%ers that are less than 1% that mess up for everybody else, I want to say thank you guys for supporting us. It has been a tough year, but it's tough every year for every law enforcement, every firefighter that's out there. And we get the protection when we're off, it's law enforcement. We call for the same services. So we are part of the community, and that's why we're involved. So I just want to say thank you. And just keep all the officers and firefighters in our prayers, and hopefully the things will start to calm down a little bit. Thank you.
Okay, so who actually handles what's going on in the city? It's the mayor and a city council person, but who actually has the purse strings for all of this to happen? Oh, it's the city treasurer. And Nancy, did you want to say anything? Money, money, money.
Well, I have no money secrets to tell you tonight, except for that the city really treats your dollar now as respectably as we can. And you're a very important community, and you're a critical part of the city, and we're really pleased to see what a wonderful effort you do tonight. And one of the things I really care about is quality of life in this city. And you obviously care about it too, because of your commitment. And I'm very impressed. Thank you.
Thank you, and a few words from our city council.
Well, I was very pleased to be here earlier today. This is a beautiful community. When I was given the honor in January of taking the empty seat of Mr. Fox, I had no idea how much I was going to enjoy the process working with these fine people. It is so rewarding. I have come to love this community, and seeing where we were back in January and where we are now, I have such an elation in my heart. I can't tell you, because I'm seeing us solve the problems one after the other. But there is much, much more to do, and this lady has been fantastic. I love working with Mayor Laura, and because I'm having so much fun, and I think that seniors have something to say in the governance of the city, I've decided that I'm not going to step away, and I'm going to run for my seat in November. Woo!
All right, thank you. So we have flipped our program, and just to let you guys know, and actually that it's a California saying, you guys. What we're going to do now is go back to what is National Night Out. And then what we're going to do is talk about our Four Seasons Neighborhood Watch program. We're about making sure if you see something, say something, support, and also get involved. So Susan is going to say what our National Night Out program is.
Well, every year I have to look at my paper and take it in again. The purpose of National Night Out, which is organised in conjunction with various police organisations neighbour-wide, is to inform the public about various police and community programmes. Today, National Night Out draws in over 37 million people from over 10,000 different communities across North America, and the event has changed in other ways. Now the focus of National Night Out is on bringing neighbours and communities together with festivals, block parties, cookouts, parades and various other events as common ways for communities to come together on National Night Out. I've been doing this for 5 years now, and every year I look forward to the team I work with on Neighbourhood Watch. We all work together really well to get this going for you, and we know how much you enjoy coming together with our law enforcement for a social event, and how much we really appreciate them. So let's give them another big round of applause. Make it worth it. And because so many of you are here tonight, I don't know how I'm going to write everybody's name down in the briefs. So I would love to get somebody that could tell me all the names of everybody that's here tonight so that I can get that right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susan. So our neighborhood watch is a great group. We meet the second Wednesday of each month at 10 a.m. and we have Josh or someone from the Beaumont Police to come. We are inviting someone from the Banning Police to come as well, and since we are neighbors, to come to our national night, to our neighborhood watch meeting at 10 a.m. on the second Wednesdays. So we talk about a lot of things. We have the St. Gregory Memorial Hospital come. We've had the supervisor come. We've had Senator Mike Morrell to come because we get people involved. And our next meeting, I want everyone to come because we will have our general manager, Jerry Mupo, will be our speaker. And we will also have in the back, you will see that there is a senior travel training program. And that's being spearheaded by Mario Jensen. Where is Mario?
Here.
Okay, Mario is, so you can talk with him at the end of the meeting tonight. So, and locally in our community, we have the Tiemann, Brenda and Richard Tiemann that's working for that, for senior travel. Now, for our community map, I'm
getting up there, boss. Just give me time.
All right. And this is to let you know how Four Seasons is not built out. So as you know, we probably have lots of calls about what's going on in the back. Part of it is the city, part of it is the county, part of it is handled by Metropolitan Water. There's a lot going on. So we give a call to people, and there are people that cross the street from Banning and Beaumont. And one thing that was not mentioned that is very good is that Beaumont and Banning Police work together. I did not know that the Highway Patrol is state, so they actually cover all of it. So that would be it. The Sheriff's Department was to come, but they are stretched to the limit, and they help us as well. Our community map person is Al Hetman. Al.
Thank you, Anita. And I don't think I need this. Okay, community map. Basically, as I said, boss. As I said, boss, and every meeting, every event we have, I get told what to do. I'm so thankful. On the community map, basically, it's all up here in regards to what we have right now, each of the different areas in area 1D through D5, and then also we have the phase 3E still coming on board. And if you, like I said in a meeting not too long ago, about 3 weeks ago, if you haven't heard the Caterpillars and all the big equipment, then that is the phase E series. So they're roaring. So that will then be allocated, and then we'll go in there and get the street names and everything else. Basically, I try to keep this updated almost, depend upon when somebody sends me a new name for a new captain, weekly. Or when we have our committees, steering committee meetings, and then all of us listed. On this board here, you can come up and take a look afterwards if you like. on this board here, basically, block captains given a streets area and need a block captain. So if you see your street, you live on it, you can sign up for that right now or tonight. Okay? Okay. Any questions about the maps? Thank you, Anita.
Thank you so much. There are a lot of people that have moved here that have bought resales. When you buy a brand new house, the builder, K-Hop, will take you, the salesperson will take you through all the amenities and tell you what's going on. A lot of people that buy a resale in here, they are kind of at a loss. And so Judy Urban came in and she bought a resale. She didn't know what was going on, and she made it her passion and commitment to hold new residents coffees so that people would feel welcome. I had talked to Art about, well, what could we do since now we're a pretty well older community, so meaning that a lot of people have been here for a while. Over at Sun Lakes, they have what you have, a welcome wagon. We do. Sun Lake. Sun Lakes, across the street. But I'm sure at the lakes, they have that too, which is across the street. But we don't have a welcome wagon, but what we have is Judy Urban, who is our welcoming for new residents. So Judy Urban. There you go.
One, two, three. There you go. Just.
Okay, it works, it works. If it seems to you like there's a few more people, from the time we held National Night Out last year to today, we've built and inhabited 200 more homes. So it's been a busy season. I am so happy to be able to meet with new people and to try to achieve a feeling of home for you here, because a lot of people will tell me, you know, I came from here and I came from there, and I said, you're going to love it here. So we try to make sure that your particular street has a block captain. The block captain and I will then organize a coffee for you and your neighbors up at the summit on a Saturday morning. And it's just a casual get-together. It's a little more casual, a little more personal than maybe a meet and greet. It gives you a chance to exchange information with your neighbors, and it gives you some idea of what Neighborhood Watch has to offer for you. Everyone belongs to Neighborhood Watch. We try to make sure that we all look out for each other. That's the whole heart of the matter. If you see something, say something, take a picture. We are about safety. We are about trying to make sure that you understand safety
As well as outside. Okay, ready, go.
The last thing that I would like to announce is that I do have spaces for new block captains, whether you live in the new area or you live in our established areas. We're going to have a block captain roundup in September. Watch the breeze for the date. We'll invite all of our block captains to come together and share information and ideas, because all of you have ideas to share. And besides that, it's a lot of fun. So, if you have an interest in becoming a block captain, There's an invitation right on my table there. And thank you all for coming tonight. When you are a block captain, you get a one-of-a-kind handmade designed by First Residential and myself, together by my husband Phil, and you can get it nowhere else. So, we'll see you at the block captain's house.
We have people that need to go, and we are going to do questions and answers now. I just want to let you know, if it's the same question, I'm going to stop you. If it's a question that is not here to now National Night Out, because we've already asked, he went out, he's coming back, the mayor and the city council and the treasurer to come to a neighborhood watch meeting that we have later on, and we'll address some questions. But tonight is our National Night Out. We want to ask about the traffic on Highland Springs. On the tables also, we put it on, we know that the purse snatching is going on, so I know some questions will come up about that. But I would be totally remiss if I did not acknowledge one person. And that person is Vivian Samuels. Would you please stand up, Vivian? Vivian has been gracious enough to help us throughout the years on compiling our sign-up and email list so that we can let all of you know what's going on. She's computer savvy, whatever. Also, we have passed around, and I hope it's going around, this sign-in email list. So if you want to make sure it is correct, if you're not on there, please write your name and your email address or contact so that we can make sure that you're updated. Your block captains should have that information. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And another question that we have for you guys is on this, as you get on the freeway, for the highway patrol, sometimes you see them parked along the side behind a little bush.
Thank you, Anita. Let's talk about Highland Springs first. Let's talk about Highland Springs first.
We have to bring some levity.
Yeah, lovely. So Highland Springs on and off ramps are obviously the highway patrol. Once the cars get to the bottom of the ramp and they cross the crosswalk, then they belong to the city of Beaumont or the city of Banning. And as most of you know, the city limits run right down the center of Highland Springs. So if you're on the west side going, I guess that would be south, then you're in the city of Beaumont. If you're on the east side of the road going north, you're in the city of Banning. For you, it doesn't really matter too much. For us in accounting and keeping track of traffic and who pays the road and all that stuff, we take care of that on the back side of it. Traffic's going to get probably worse with the Hobby Lobby and the Michaels and the Marshalls or whatever they're going to put over there. Big Five, of course, and I know that you welcome those stores because they're fabulous. We'll all be over there as well. The Caltrans, which is in control and maintains the signal lights there on the on and off ramps for Highland Springs, have them phased this very certain way. And whether you may know or not, they do spend a lot of time. There's engineers that put a lot of time and effort to make sure that those traffic signals are timed correctly. The main concern for those signals is to make sure that traffic doesn't back up on the freeway. And that's critically important. You can imagine being stopped on the freeway in the slow lane because the traffic signals weren't phased correctly, and then a truck come by and rear end them. So the primary concern is to keep those off-ramps clear so that traffic doesn't back up to the top of the ramp. That's the first priority. The second priority, of course, is to the expeditious flow of traffic throughout the city on and off the off-ramps, and they try to work that. I would say that there's going to be some re-engineering and at least re-looking of the intersections once the new markets, the new shopping centers are open in the old Kmart area, so they will evaluate how traffic flows. And that's pretty much all I know about the traffic at this point. Anita, so there are times when you see a CHP officer on the side of the freeway. Has anyone ever seen a CHP officer on the side of the freeway? Very good. That's important because you want to see them out there. When you see the patrol cars out there, people take note. They make sure that they're driving carefully. They probably will drop their cell phone if it was up against their ear. And maybe throw their seatbelt on real quick and quit beating the kids that are in the back seat. All that happens very quickly when they see a CHP unit, and that's important to us. Normally what they're doing is monitoring traffic, and we have the ability in our patrol cars to use radar and LiDAR to check the speed of traffic. So when you see them on the side of the road, a lot of times they're what we call shooting LiDAR or shooting radar, and that's shooting a small laser beam or handheld device at traffic and helping determine which car is going fast and which one would deserve a ticket. So they're actually in the process of enforcing speed, and that's what you're seeing when you see them on the side of the road. And they almost always do it on the right side, up against either in a dirt area or in a bushy area, not to hide or be inconspicuous, but which they could. But you can imagine if they were in the center divide, how dangerous that could be. So we would never do that in the center divide. It's a dangerous place to be. We want to be on the shoulder. We want to be away from those traffic lanes as far as we can. So if someone were to drift off on accident, they don't take our officers out. And it's kind of like fishing. You go fishing where the fish are. So our officers have certain spots where traffic tends to pick up some speed, and they can ride trucks, and they can ride cars, and people driving fast, and doing silly things like unsafe lane changes, and if the visibility is correct, looking for seat belts or cell phone violations, all that good stuff. So they're not sleeping anymore. Does that answer your question? Oh my gosh. Any at all? Okay. And I do have my lieutenant and my fabulous sergeant here. They love to field some questions as well, but yell them out.
I got a question for you. I understand every morning to go to Pomona every day.
I feel for you.
I'm actually on a black and white motorcycle, so I can be with you guys, but it's okay. My question is, I don't see any units in the morning out on the road. And to be honest with you, I know a lot of people appreciate going 80 plus down to 10, but I mean, we're being chased by literally 18 wheelers going 80 miles an hour. And I don't see any enforcement. I've been doing this for 4 years now. And to me, you know, I like to rich down the highway, but you know, when one of your officers say, why were you going down? I said, I'm just trying to stay out of the way of this guy behind me. But I mean, it seems like there's nobody out there. And now they got the 55-mile-an-hour circulating force. I mean, it's a joke.
The construction zone.
I mean, my wife, she's more conservative than I would like to be. She does 55 there, and you're going to
So I think your question is maybe staffing? Well, where are all the CHP officers? Maybe?
Well, I mean, it's a chronic problem. And I know so that when we put that mask in, a lot worse than it was, it would have been a little bit slower.
I understand. So maybe the question is staffing. We're kind of at we're definitely outgunned. I use that lightly. There's a whole lot more traffic than there is CHP officers. We do the best we can. We have minimum priorities every day. Each office is different. our office has a different priority than Riverside or San Bernardino or Indio, depending on our staffing levels, the amount of traffic on the freeways. I can assure you that the CHP officers are out there. I can tell you one thing. We have a big push in the Highway Patrol to keep our officers safe. And one of the things that we're always pushing or trying to do is to make our traffic stops safer. And one of the reasons why you might not see these traffic stops is because making a traffic stop on the freeway is inherently dangerous. Unlike a city surface street where traffic may be going a little bit slower, the freeway, they're going 55, 60, 70, 80, 90, or who knows what. And they kind of get into this zone of where they zone out and turn into zombies and they drive down the freeway. So a lot of times what the CHP officers will do is direct traffic off the freeway to make the enforcement stop. The officers get to choose when to turn on the lights. And I'm not making an excuse, I'm just kind of telling you what some of the things that we do. We try to make the enforcement stop where we can get the person, the violator, the person we're going to talk to off at an off-ramp. So we might make an enforcement stop just before an off-ramp. We turn on the lights, we use our public address system and ask the person the driver to please exit the freeway, go to the bottom of the ramp, maybe pull into the Best Buy parking lot or to a gas station or even at the bottom of the ramp. It's a whole lot safer for us than it is standing out there on the side of the freeway, because the majority of the officers in our agency that have been killed have been struck by cars. That's unfortunately how we get killed. So we'd rather be not on the freeway. And I hope that answers a little bit of your question.
I'm concerned with this development that's going in on that side. So I understand we're going to have about 5,000 houses there. Where are all these cars going to go? I don't care about the shopping center. I don't think they're going to get all that. Is anything being proposed? I mean, we're heading that direction. Anything being talked about there?
I'm not familiar with the Chief Diaz. Will take that from me. Thanks, Chief.
I believe it's the sales center you're speaking of, and that's south of Lincoln, over by Old Idlewild Road.
I'm talking about crossing Sundance on highway.
Yeah, that's the party project. Now, that is still a project that is in the future. So we really don't have to worry about that project for now. But when the builder comes into town, there's certain concessions that they have to adhere to. And one of those is the control of traffic. And the city of Manning was working on that, even though it's a project that is future. And Mayor, am I out of line saying that we're not going to see any homes for a few more years? Yeah, so we're looking at anywhere from 2 to 5 years for any homes to be built there. And
But where this building on the thing just now to take care of that, and it's coming.
This question comes up all the time. It's what's going to happen with traffic on Highland Springs when Banning starts building houses. The traffic on it. This is no blame on either city. The growth out here was going to take place. The infrastructure, it really was not there. And it's both sides of the traffic. By the way, I want to correct, I'm doing this dangerously because I'm going to get on the freeway tomorrow. I want to correct the CHP. 2/3 of Highland Springs belongs to Beaumont. Our third on Banning, we don't have a traffic problem. There are though mitigations that are starting to take place by the builders. And by the way, Pardee, who still has quite a few houses to build on the Beaumont side before they even start on the Banning side. It's probably 2 to 4 years away before you see any structures on the Banning side. However, Part E is already stepping to the plate for what you call off-site improvements, and they are responsible for mitigating traffic on that north side from where the project is, which is Wilson, it's north of the hospital, Wilson and Highland Springs, down to the freeway. And you're going to see some significant changes take place in that part of travel. As far as the south side is concerned, and I know both our cities are really wanting to do this too and work together. We need a deterrent for our residents on the south side to get to the freeway. And one of the projects that we're working on is an extension of Sun Lakes Boulevard to Sunset, because we now have a new grade separation at Sunset to take traffic off and on the freeway more readily. And I know, and I don't want to speak for Beaumont, but I know there's been conversation about continuing to develop along First Street and the Pennsylvania area also. But these are things that take time. I've been living in Sun Lake for 22 years, and I will guarantee you 22 years ago, we didn't have any traffic on Highland Springs. But we've all grown up. We've got major shopping, which everybody has asked for and demanded out in this area. We've got major growth in your community right here in Four Seasons, which is fantastic. And the preparation for this is long term. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. But I think I can speak on behalf of both the cities. We are well aware of it, and we are working in that direction to make this thing work out.
I just happened to mention Pennsylvania Avenue, so I just wondered if there's a time frame on even being an engineer or starting. I have a friend that's a retired Caltrans engineer, and he said when he was still working for Caltrans, there was no plans at all to develop Pennsylvania Avenue. So, is there anything on the drawing board or in their minds to improve Pennsylvania Avenue?
Currently, there's nothing on the drawing board. We had reached out to Caltrans previously. Initially, they indicated that you couldn't have off-ramps so close together. Speaking with Banning, because they were looking at another off-ramp in a different area, they got a different answer. So my hope is that we could sit down with Banning and maybe push Caltrans together and talk about getting some of these off-ramps looked at and hopefully designed and worked on soon.
I wanted to tell you that I really appreciate your question. It shows that you are aware of the current issues that this area is facing. Our growth has outstripped the infrastructure, and we need to make sure as we grow that infrastructure fits the growth, and it's a critical item for us. But there have been discussions, as Mayor Wells talked about what the needs are, and Part B is stepping up to the plate to pay their vacation fees, because for every house we build, we only get 25% of that tax, and that's not enough to build all these things. So we do need the assistance of developers, and I'm glad to say you seem to be cooperative.
I would like to ask a question regarding Beaumont Avenue. It seems like it's an easy fix to put right-hand lane turns off of Beaumont onto First and off of Beaumont onto where the Del Taco is. It's very dangerous, but you could move a lot more traffic through there if we had right-hand turn lanes. And that, to me, does not seem to be an expensive fix. That's a big area there. If you could just squeeze in a little right-hand turn on each one, it sure would make our life a little easier.
Something to think about.
Yeah, we are, now that the city has hired a city not a city manager, but a city engineer, we do have him looking at that, as well as a couple of other of the overpasses to help with traffic congestion.
My question is about the crime, I guess the elephant in the room. We've all heard or know someone that lives in our community that has had their purse snatched and was pushed to the ground. If you could speak to that, and then also with the increase of merchants and stores that are moving into the area, I guess that would attract more outside visitors. But if you could also speak to the women and the men as to how we can keep ourselves safe when loading groceries into the car and taking our eyes off of our purse and walking around swinging our purses. So if you could address that and how we can keep ourselves safe as well.
I'll start off real quick. There have been some incidents in both cities of purse snatches. I don't want to speak out of place because I know that Sean's agency is handling the majority of those investigations. So I don't want to give out information that they're not ready to release yet. Hopefully Sean will come in and talk a little bit more about that. But I'm going to let my captain talk about some of the things our citizens, and I'm talking about what Beaumont Bank, what they can do to make sure that they are not victims, or that they're not victims.
Thank you. The main thing you want to do is go out anywhere is be aware of your surroundings. I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase victim line. And suspects look for that. They look for somebody who's out in the shopping centers or walking in the neighborhood, going about the daily business, but they're not really aware of their surroundings. So they've got a purse strung over them, but they're not looking around, they're carrying an item, but they're not really aware of what's going on. So when you're out and about, coming out to the grocery store, you don't want to have your purse just sitting on your shopping cart, just kind of strung over your shoulder. You want to have it, maybe have one hand on that as you're pushing the cart. And you're looking around. Looking around to see if somebody's standing watching you, somebody's sitting in a car next to your car, or you're walking up. It doesn't mean that they're there to get you, but if you make eye contact with that person, then they know that you're looking. And a lot of times that suspect, that person is looking to take advantage, they don't want that confrontation most of the time. So they're going to look for the easy target. They're going to look for somebody who maybe leaves their purse sitting in the car while they're loading their groceries, and then maybe you're loading something to the front of their car, or you put your purse or belongings in the front of the car, they go back to the rear of their car, leaving that unattended. And it only takes a second. That's all it takes. So my encouragement to you guys is be aware of your surroundings and go out. Watch for your other neighbors. I know a lot of you go to the shopping centers in the area, you may not know exactly who's coming and going, but you kind of start to see similar people at the same time of the day, and you say, oh, I know that person, or I've seen them around. Watch out for them. If you notice somebody watching somebody else, hey, shout out to them. Hey, be aware of what you're doing, or even notify the store. There's a suspicious person coming out in the area. But it's not just for this area. Anywhere you go, gas stations, grocery stores, businesses, amusement, or theater, or whatever, restaurants, be aware of your surroundings. Have that mindset that I'm not going to be a victim. Look for a person. I'll tell you a quick story about last summer. I took my family to Europe. And even after I kept telling my kids and my wife, these are the things that could happen, my wife had her purse stolen right off her shoulder in a subway station. And it happened in a split second. So I reinforced that to my kids. I said, hey, see, I told you something could happen. You need to be aware of this. So then I taught my kids how to start looking for the purse snatchers and the people looking to take advantage of others around Paris. And it became a game to them. And within a day or two, they were more interested in picking out the people on the streets that were going to take advantage of them and looking at the Eiffel Tower and all the others. They thought it was great. But to me, it felt like, this is a good life lesson, because what I hope they take from that as they grow older is they're aware of their surroundings, and they can see when they're getting into a situation that they need not be in. They can get away from that or avoid it. I hope that helps you.
And you know what, to make it even more easy, the concept of neighborhood watch, for a citizen going shopping. I mean, what is the concept of neighborhood watch? Awareness, right? Be aware, be observant, report. I had the opportunity when I worked for San Diego to interview a suspect that had committed numerous armed robberies at ATMs. And I was lucky that I was the one that captured him. They allowed me to interview him. And when I asked him, you know, why were you going to specific places at specific times and how did you shoot your victims? And his answer was, that was easy, man. Whenever I noticed that someone took out money from the ATM and they were walking, counting their money, that's what I knew my victims, because they weren't aware of their surroundings. But he always stayed away from those people that would get their money and were paranoid looking around. Because eye contact can be a motivator for a suspect not to commit a crime. Once they made that direct contact with the victim, with the eye contact, more than likely they will move on and go to someone else. So just the concept of neighborhood watch alone is a good initiator for people not to be victims. And there was a second part to that question about what we're going to do once these new stores open up here pretty soon. That is something that Sean and I are working on. And you know, I apologize because the Sheriff's Department as well as CHP are good law enforcement that are helping us keep the passengers safe. So we're going to work on some programming to try to fight some of this theft that more than likely will occur. We don't have large agencies, and even Sheriff's Department and other larger agencies have issues when it comes to theft at stores. So Sean and I are going to be working on some projects to help mitigate some of these big stores.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We actually have,
It'll be brief. One thing I want to say is I've noticed on TV where we have on the news that men are being preyed upon too. So I'm particularly sensitive to it because I'm a woman, I'm careful. My park is close to the grocery store if I have to go at night. I don't park next to vans, where I can't see when I'm getting in my car. When I get out to pump gas, I make sure that either the door's locked or else I put my purse down on the floor on the driver's side so it can't be snatched from the passenger side. But I've noticed on the news that sometimes the decency level has even gotten worse and men are being pushed down or slugged or whatever. So I would say to the guys in the room, don't, because you're a guy, think that these predators have a heart or are intimidated that easily. So I would caution you to be very careful also, because I've seen a number of gas station robberies and things like that where the men have been slugged by like two guys who come from each side. So be careful.
The eye contact works very well. My wife will grab the keys from the table, look me in the eye and say, "You're going to the grocery store, I'm staying here."
Okay, I have one just quickly because you guys need to leave. He actually came and it is the Riverside County Sheriff's representative, so quickly, because he said he came in, but he has to.
Hi, my name is Ron Dorsey, I'm with Riverside County Sheriff's Department out of Cabazon. Apologize for being late tonight. I had planned on being here right on time, but we had an incident at the Smith Correction Facility in Bend. So that's where I've been all this evening. So I'm headed back over there to help him out. So again, I apologize for being late. I patrol everything from almost Moreno Valley to the west, the Whitewater and the east, and up in the Calamasa area. I spent 8 years in Calamasa. My official title is Community Service Officer. I basically do the same thing as the sworn deputy. My position is not sworn. I'm considered a civilian employee. I'm still out there help patrolling, fighting crime. I help the deputies out. I transport for them. I also take reports, traffic reports, accidents. I do write parking citations, I'm not able to write moving violations, but if you are parked, I'm the bad guy. If you have any questions, I'll be I'll be able to answer them before I leave.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
I want to know if there is any kind of a significant gang problem here, because I see an awful lot of people in Walmart and on the other side of the freeway with the teardrops and the bricks and the prison tattoos and the head tattoos, and I see them everywhere, and it's very creepy.
You hear me? Just a quick explanation. The significance of tattoos has changed in the last 5 to 10 years. Now it's considered more of an art form. So you're going to see tattoos that in the past would be considered prison. I've seen people that have never been in jail that have those little tear tattoos in their face because they cried a lot when they were young, whatever. But not, just because they have certain tattoos doesn't necessarily mean that they are gang members. It's just that, it's a lifestyle that is with a young generation. It's something that they want. Well, we do have a gang task force here in the past area. We don't have a significant gang problem that maybe City of Los Angeles, City of San Diego, City of Long Beach might have, but we do have them. The reality is that we have gangs. But it would be difficult for me to be able to answer that question without actually seeing it. And like I said, I know that there are tattoo artists that are, they do little clear tattoos. This is something that they enjoy, something that they like. So without seeing it, it would be very difficult. Are there people out there that, that reform their lives, but, they can't afford to remove those, the insignia that they had from, their young days? Yeah, absolutely. Once again, tattoos don't necessarily mean criminal activity. At one point, some of these folks were criminals. Not to say that there's some people out there that are tattooed that are but no, to say that we have exploding gang problem in the past area, no, but we do have.
All right, thank you so much. We have time for 2 more questions, and then, 1, 2, 3, all right, time for 3 more, and then we thank you for your patience, and then we're going to close down, and you can come up and talk to them after the meeting. But we thank you so much. And before this last question, I was just instructed, please pick up your lanyard if you are a block captain, and pick up your dish. All right, question.
Okay, we go out 60 quite often. And we see the big construction off on the left-hand side. That is going to be a huge amount of traffic. What is the solution for all the trucks and cars going in and out of that area? And is there any possibility, I know at one time Portola was supposed to go all the way through 260. Is there any progress on that, or where do we stand on that? Portero. Those are my questions. We got a big area out there. Something's going to happen, and I don't know if anybody knows about it, but it looks like we got a big load of trucks and cars coming in there soon.
Caltrans has an intersection upgrade for that Dallas fruit orchard area where Western Knolls is, to upgrade that to fully three-phase traffic signal to handle the traffic. The State Route 60 is a CHP jurisdiction, although it does cut through the city of Beaumont. But Caltrans is responsible for traffic there. As far as what they are, I'm not sure. It's like concrete to me. But these guys know. I don't have time for it, but Perhaps Art would know.
Go see if there's anything left of my stuff.
Oh, probably not.
One of the problems that we encountered before was that when you get back there, some areas of the county, some areas are the city of Anaheim, and other areas are the city of Omaha. But the majority of the shooting, I can put him on the spot, the area where the majority of the shooting is happening is county. So I don't know if Deputy would want to talk about that, but I know that's something that Sean and I were working with the county. We didn't hear as many complaints last year as we heard the year before. It's gone down a little bit, so, and I think it had to do a lot with the partnerships that we built to show that we were able to get people out.
Okay, I have a question, and I'd like to bring the security issue a little closer to home in the community. We're aware that there was a burglary in our community recently. What we don't get is news in the breeze about burglaries. I mean, it isn't, something that we're really interested in, but I am right now. Police reports, is that a one-off incident, or have we had other incidents like this in Four Seasons community?
Okay, we'll have to get with the Beaumont Police, because this is the Beaumont Police question for you. So, Sean, of course, like we said earlier, that they're going to other events. So that's a good question. We'll ask Sean and get back to you on that. If you would leave your name with Al, please, Al Gedman there. We'll get back to you and find out what the proper procedure is as far as information. Generally, I see in the Record Gazette, I usually see everything in the consent.
So I can talk about California law and what it relates to in regards to public information and what's releasable. There's a lot of stuff that's releasable. There's arrest reports are releasable, names, cities, ages, whether it's a traffic collision or a crime. Some things are releasable. Some things the police department, law enforcement chooses to keep confidential for a while. The reason is that might affect their investigation. So if the Breeze, whoever's writing the Breeze, wants to get police information, all they have to do is get a hold of their local public information officer, whether it's Highway Patrol, City of Banning, or City of Beaumont, and we'll release whatever crimes that they are interested in, whether it be property crimes, or traffic crimes, or anything like that. And that can be printed in the newspaper. We'll release what's legal, and they can print all of that. It's surprising what can be printed in the newspaper. So don't get in trouble.
I have one last question. I feel that
Can you finish answering his question first? The captain has a little bit more.
I'm not familiar if Beaumont has this or not, but if you go to the city of Banning, the Banning Police Department website, we subscribe to a service called Crime Map. And if you log on there every night at midnight, all our activities for the day, if we take reports or if we investigate some type of criminal matter, is put up onto a computer-generated map of our city. And it also shows the region, other agencies that are using that. And you can see, you can say, I want to see what's happened in the last 24 hours, what's happened in the last 3 days, 7 days, 14, 30 days, and I think it goes up to 6 months. And then you can say, maybe you just want to see the burglaries in the area during that time. You can actually filter that and after that. But be forewarned, it's a little bit scary when you say you just want to see the sex registrants in our area. But that is good information because not only does it give you a general area of where they live, it shows you a picture of these people so that you're aware where they live. So you can go on at any time to the Banning Police Department website and on the left-hand side, click on the Crime Mapping software program, it's free, and you can actually subscribe to it and get alerts and stuff's occurring in an area. And like I said, every night at midnight, it updates with the information from that.
And for those of you who have tablets and smartphones, there is an application, crimereports.com, Apple or Android. And all you have to do, even though you live here, I'm not sure, I need to talk to Sean to find out if they participate in this program. But you can go on either on a computer or you can do it through your smartphone or tablet. You can put in your address and it'll show you what is happening around your neighborhood, or you can even put the zip code. It might not show what's happening in Beaumont if the police department doesn't participate, but it'll show you what's happening in our city. And it's always good to know what's happening in your neighborhood across the area. It's always good.
I lived in a 55, an older community in the desert, and we had a system where you call the gate guard and he logged the problem. You called the HOA, there was always somebody at the clubhouse that would log it. So we had our own internal figures, and we didn't have to depend upon law enforcement through our HOA when we had meetings. We knew exactly what was going on and where it was happening. Also, I'd like to know from the Beaumont officials that are still here, what about a new post office? The handicap situation, the parking there's 2 places to park. There's no other place to park except 2 or 3 private stalls. You have to cross a busy street if you're handicapped and park over there. You can't park in the alleys. It's impossible to use that post office, and that's a U.S. Postal Service. We have expanded 4-fold, 5-fold since that was developed. Can you give us, what do we need to do to get a bigger post office or more parking for that post office?
It's my understanding that that's the Postmaster General and it's a Washington, D.C. decision on where they expand and put up larger regional post office. Now, they probably could take another look at this area because the growth has been so fast that they may not be as aware as they could be about how quickly we've grown. But I do agree that it's, not only is it a customer service issue when you can't find a place to park, but when it's that congested, it actually at times can be dangerous because people are looking for parking spaces while they're trying to maneuver traffic. I will say this about the people who work at the post office, considering how much more people they have to serve. They are the nicest, most polite people. I cannot believe it. When the line's out the door, they are all pretty cheery and pretty quick to give you the best service they can. But I agree, the facility has long been outgrown. And a number of years ago, we did visit Washington, D.C. and tried to get more attention for a larger post office. And probably now that we've grown even more, it would be a good time to see what, if anything, we can do to promote that from a planning perspective. Now, that's just what I know about it, and the mayor and council member Condon may know something more than I know. That wouldn't be hard to do sometimes.
I think Nancy covered most of the points, but we did meet with Mr. Liz, our representative from this area, and we told him how badly we need the post office, and we asked him to take that back to Washington and talk to the powers that be, and he promised that he would do that. And I spoke with our local postmaster and asked him how we could help him with that issue, and he said, well, you can talk to my boss in San Diego. So I had the opportunity to talk to the regional postmaster in San Diego, and he was very responsive both to that question and said he appreciated the community input, but he was also extremely responsive to some mail thefts. that we had had in this area. It was a serious rash of them. And they got in there, you may have seen in the paper that a man and his wife were arrested on suspicion of mail theft. And that was a result of Beaumont Police's good work as people's mail was being stolen in this community. So they were very responsive on that issue. And I'm hoping that Mr. Ruiz is in Washington talking to them on behalf.
Closing remarks. We thank you so much, and we generally try to keep you at no longer than an hour and a half.
Can I say one thing? This is on the lighter side. Tonight we've had some very good questions and concerns, of course, especially about our traffic here on Highland Springs. And also with the Fortune stores coming in on the Banyan side. We need to run kind of a little project to see what kind of traffic that's going to generate there. So on the 25th of August, Big 5 opens. All of you come over there and we can run our own little survey as we track.
Bring a lot of cash.
September.
Just wanted to thank you all this evening for your questions. We've got the answers that you were looking for. I'm sure Nina will follow up with those that the Chief Police needs to respond to. Thank you for your hospitality. You guys have always been so kind to us. We do appreciate being invited, and you guys appreciate all the hard work that you're doing.
That we have two people that have applied to be police volunteers, and that's Jeannie Granville and Sherry Howard. So they are going to So thank you so much. We're going to take some pictures and eat. Before you guys get up, hello. Before you get up, please give a big round of applause to